This is Piccadilly Circus.
You know, it's great to come to places in your home city which you've never been to, because I feel like I need to have this feeling of nostalgia or longing or enamorment. But honestly, I don't have those feelings. Right, hi everyone and welcome to London once again. It's a rather warm Saturday morning in late October in West London. I'm right next to Portobello Road Market. Haven't been here in ages, I'm excited. In the last video I went back to my hometown in Feltham and I didn't really like it, to be honest. So today I am exploring parts of London which I have been to before, but I want to show you a little bit what London is like away from Buckingham Palace, away from Tower Bridge, a bit of brutalist architecture. Of course we're going to go to a fish and chip shop. I haven't been to one in absolutely years. So hopefully my camera works. I think it's fixed. It might not be. Here goes nothing. We'll start off, of course, with a UK icon, Greggs. We're not going to go there today, we went there in the last video. And Portobello Road Market, or Portobello if I speak properly, without my London accent, is very much a national institution. I don't know a huge amount about the history of it, but I would say, along with somewhere like Carnaby Street, it is just an absolute icon, somewhere that you must visit in London, a bit further away from some of the more traditional tourist sites. Of course, London is very diverse, and this area is no exception. There's a lot of kind of Jamaican influence around this area. And look at this, it's very pretty, isn't it? Very Instagrammable, if you're an Insta-babe. Got a bit of music in the distance. It also reminds me here of Camden, you know, that area, it's not too far from here actually, that's, you know, very well known for its music history, amazing street food. I actually went there about 5 years ago in a video I did back then. It's awesome. Got all these records here. My dad used to love Dire Straits. We got Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, The Who, Radiohead. I absolutely love Radiohead. That's one of my favourite albums. Karma Police. Is that on that one? Hang on. It is. One of my favourite songs. Paranoid Android. Oh, no surprises. That is the ultimate song. The Beatles. That's Abbey Road, of course, which is just down the road. We're going to go down there in a bit. Oh my Christ. We've got a Portuguese food place. We've got coxinha. I was in Brazil earlier this year. Those are true icons. My friend Jessica is going to have a meltdown when she sees this. Are there brigadeiros anywhere? Pão de queijo as well. Be careful with that word, because if you say it wrong, which I probably just did, I think it means penis. Bom dia. Can I get one coxinha? Yeah. It's been a long time. I was in São Paulo earlier this year, yeah. Brigadeiro, coxinha, what else?
How long you was there?
I was there for 3 months. I went to Coup de Grâce as well.
You know what's that?
I had it cold, it's okay. Awesome. Lovely. How much is that?
It's £3.
£3. Okay, cool. Look, pounds. I haven't seen these in so long. I bet that guy thought I was the right twat, but well, this is YouTube, so of course I am. This brings back a lot of memories from earlier this year. I actually had this in my first video of the year in São Paulo. It's basically like shredded chicken surrounded by dough and like breadcrumbs. It's so iconic in Brazil that you can eat it literally too much. Oh, it's full of chicken. Let's tuck in. Good stuff. You know, I never thought I'd be having a coxinha again, let alone in London. Is it similar to the ones in Brazil? Kind of. I think the ones in Brazil had less chicken in. The dough is very much similar. Obviously, I couldn't be bothered to get it hot. You should have it hot really, but I've got to say, London, all is forgiven. Amazing. Let's go back into the food bit and see what other food they've got. I saw arepas as well. Get them in Colombia and Venezuela. Let's see what else they got. Will they have Mexican? Oh my god. Look at these paellas. Or as English people might say, paella. Ugh. Well, look at the shrimps in those. I just tried some of this korma. Beautiful. Oh, what's this one?
Tandoori chicken.
Ah, tandoori chicken. Amazing. Oh, it comes in a wrap. Katsu noodles, and then I found the Mexican. It's not Mexican whatsoever. More like Tex-Mex stuff. Yes, the guy is not Mexican either. I thought I'd get some egg fried rice as well.
Egg fried rice.
Awesome. That's a fiver, yeah? Cool. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Lovely. I'm being such a greedy bitch today, aren't I? But I don't care. Like, yesterday I was thinking, oh shit, I'm spending so much money in London, but you know what, I'm here for 2 days, might as well treat myself. Brilliant, look at that street art up there. Rice. That is top tier elite, isn't it? It's awesome. It's a girl reaching up to the Mona Lisa. Amazing. I'm very disappointed by the Mexican thing, honestly. Seriously, has anyone ever been to Mexico before? I had to move because I was sat on the floor outside a cash machine and I looked like a homeless person. Good stuff. We're heading to our second spot now. You know what? Filming videos in a place you're from is so awkward. I can't even describe it. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't have this problem anywhere else, I feel. Maybe it's just because I'm familiar with here and, you know, in other countries I just don't care. It's bizarre. We're heading towards Trellick Tower, which is an example of late 60s British brutalism. So if you're watching this and thinking, why is he filming ugly brutalist architecture from the late 60s and 70s? Well, I filmed a lot of videos in Belgrade in Serbia, focusing on brutalism and modernist architecture. I'm a big fan of it. Look at this. This is one of the most famous examples, by the way. It's just what I love. Concrete, graffiti ridden, absolutely monolithic and towering. You've got this separate tower to the left with little bridges across. So obviously when I was walking here towards Portobello Road, this didn't look too impressive in comparison to some of the brutalist architectural examples I've seen in Serbia. But up close, my opinion has changed, absolutely. And as you may know and probably realise, you know, a lot of this architecture, these tower blocks, were built as a result of the need for housing after World War II. I believe they replaced a lot of old Victorian terraced houses, which just weren't fit for purpose, you know. And I think this tower block, as many other examples of brutalism, were, you know, victims of crime, as we've got graffiti, drug use, things like that, which is typical of this sort of area, to be honest. That tower to the left reminds me very much of the Genex Tower in Belgrade. It's very similar, and I love those narrow rectangular windows. There was also the thing in the 80s, I think the right to buy scheme, where you could buy your council home, so I'm assuming these were council homes, during the times of Margaret Thatcher. Watch The Crown, season 4, that kind of covers that era. I remember 1990, the poll tax and the riots. I'm being a good Samaritan today, just help that lovely lady down the stairs. Can you see her? She's down there somewhere, with her bags. Look at this graffiti up here. It's huge, isn't it? So cool. You know, these buildings were extremely unpopular, and I remember growing up, you know, everyone would say, oh, they're disgusting, they're horrible. There was some in Feltham, where I went in the last video, which were knocked down and then rebuilt again, and it looked almost identical. But those were notorious, renowned for their crime. Like my mum would always say, don't go to Highfields, that's what it was called. And, you know, that's the real London. It's not utopia. It's not the utopia you see on Instagram. So obviously, you know, you have a brain, you know, you know that. Colchones. If you've seen my Mexico videos, you'll know what I mean by that. Oh, look at this. I really like it, actually. I think my love for London is finally coming back. you might know what I mean when I say I feel like I'm walking around my childhood. Like, it feels like the 80s or 90s, you know? Let's go down here to this green area. Yeah, so as with a lot of brutalism everywhere, you know, there's always this communal aspect. It seems now this isn't so communal. You know, quite often you'll see little playgrounds and stuff like that. There's a sports area there which has seen better days, clearly. Right, battery's charged on my camera. Where am I? I'm heading towards Maida Vale. Kilburn's up there. Abbey Road's a bit further on. And then our next Brutalist spot is a little bit further on from there. So, let's go. I don't know what's going on with the weather. Today is October the 22nd. Feels like it's the middle of August. Is this that climate change thing people keep banging on about? I think it might be. So this area might look quite posh and well off, wealthy, affluent. But like, it literally stinks of weed, like every street you walk down. Instababes will not tell you that, will they? I'm trying to cross Willesden bus garage. No, I don't want to go there, mate. Hang on, hang on. This is the worst thing you could possibly do in London. Crossing between buses. Do not do what I did just then. Alright, let's go. Maida Vale, gotta go down here. I've got a funny feeling it's up there, or is it the other way? I can't remember. I have actually been here before, you know. Here we are, the famous crossing is up there. I can already see people doing the Beatles poses. I'm surprised more people don't get killed on this crossing, to be honest. Right next to the crossing, of course, is the famous Abbey Road Studios, where the Beatles famously recorded. So yeah, you can write whatever you want on this wall. I believe they repaint it like quite regularly, so don't expect whatever you write on there to remain there for long. Yeah, there are things. Sean loves Lisa. Please like. That's a bit desperate, as I put please subscribe on the screen. I'm being a tourist in my own country and city. Look at those nutters. Like, that bus is gonna run you down, hun. I mean, I get it, I really do. You're a tourist, you want to do things like this, right? But as someone that was a driver in London for many years, I would be infuriated just trying to go about my daily business and you got these people posing on a zebra crossing. Well, I'm just going to cross. I ain't a tourist. It's only a zebra crossing, for fuck's sake. It's so funny. It's like they're running the gauntlet, you know, or the tightrope, whatever it is. Hilarious. Right, that's enough of that shit. Let's walk back in this direction to the Brutalist spot, which we were going to see. We've headed over from Westminster into Camden and the Alexandra and Ainsworth estate. This is another well-known location in terms of Brutalist architecture, although I hadn't heard about it until about a week ago. It's not these ones. Oh, shit. It's up here. I feel like I'm in New Belgrade all over again. Oh look, is that a sports ground bit? Hang on, I think it's behind there. Oh yeah, look. Alexandra Road Park, Ainsworth Way. There are playgrounds, there's a meadow, there's a mound, and a games pitch. The Hive, what's that? Oh my lord. Here we are. This is different, isn't it? This is an absolute London icon. How did I not know about this before? Oh my lord. Wowzers. Just look at all the concrete. And it's got like this stepped design, you know, and as you can see, people have made it home with their little flower arrangements and plants. It's truly bizarre because walking down here, again, just like I said in Serbia, it feels like Inception with the buildings like closing in on me from either side. It's like being trapped in one of those saw traps, you know, from the movie when the walls are coming in and you're going to get crushed. Look, we've got these horrible concrete stairwells, which I love. Wowzers. I really love that design, that stepped thing. I love it, and it kind of goes on forever. I think I can see the end now, up there. And on the point of Council House, when we heard that growing up, especially during those Margaret Thatcher times, it would fill you with this feeling of, oh, council estate, council flat, it's a dump, you know, it benefits people that ain't got no money, people that ain't working, people are doing drugs there. And yeah, there is part of that, true, but you know, it's not necessarily the same across the board, and I'm sure they've changed. You know, I sound like such a snob. I'm from bloody Feltham, you know, that's a fucking dump. So I've got no place to talk. What's down here? Any dead bodies? I'm sure it's just like an alleyway underneath. Oh, I've gone really cockney then. Oh, it's a car park. Oh, wow, look at all the garages. That reminds me of Belgrade at the Eastern Gate with all the garages around the bottom. So it is totally like its own community. As we saw, we got all the little parks and stuff and the sports ground. It's very enclosed. I can imagine there is a community feeling here. Although, having grown up in the UK, probably not. I didn't talk to my neighbour for the whole 8 years I lived next to her. You know, it's great to come to places in your home city which you've never been to and find something that's really cool. Like, I think I've told myself subconsciously for years in my head that I need to go to another country to find that, but it's just not true. You know, even if you're into slightly niche things like brutalist architecture, you can find them in London. What's going on here then? The cops are outside the Islamic Centre, England. What have we got over there? Nice pub. But look at Kilburn Park tube station. Like it's a classic example of the sort of original design of tube stations in London, with those sort of burgundy tiles and the lettering at the top. Classic. There are of course many disused tube stations in London. I believe you can do tours of some of them now and again. See it, say it, sorted. What does that even mean? Right, on the tube again. Metropolitan line this time to Elephant and Castle. Change there onto the Northern line to Clapham Common, which is near my place. Southbound, Elephant and Castle, lovely. The smell of the tube is of course iconic. Also the rats. It's just got that, you know, old, smoky, oily smell. Of course, I'm a genius coming up this end because the carriage is completely empty, all to myself. I haven't been on a Metropolitan line train for bloody ages. I think they're quite old. I'll let you know how old these are. Possibly from the 70s. A lot of them are that old. I think Piccadilly line trains are about that age. Oh yeah, look, hang on. Yeah, this is like back in the day. You would stand here if it was busy, and you know, you would have your hair blowing like you're in a music video. The tube in London. As much as I hate London sometimes, I love the tube. Yeah, most tube trains nowadays will have the chairs like that, you know. Not like this. This is a bit old school. Oh, this is nice. I've got a whole train car to myself. The next stop is Maida Vale. Did you know, you probably do know, I've mentioned it before, that in 2014 my appendix burst on the tube at Gloucester Road, Piccadilly line. Almost died. I'm still here though. Lovely. Elephant and Castle. As you've seen on the screen already, this isn't the Metropolitan line, it's the Bakerloo. It's been a long day, alright? Clapham Common. I'm off the tube. You know you're tired when you almost drop off, falling asleep on the seat. There's Starbucks. I used to go out back in the day, down here, like, you know, back in the days I was in like my mid-20s and an alcoholic and other things. It's Clapham Common, lovely. Right, let's find a cash machine and then find a fish and chip shop. London tip. I ain't got a clue where the nearest chippy is, but all you need to do is walk down the street and you're bound to find one, along with a Chinese restaurant, an Indian, a dodgy pizza joint and a kebab shop where the guy behind the counter probably sells drugs of some kind, or dodgy cigarettes from a country where they're cheap and not 10 quid. Right, oh there's one. Oh brilliant. See, I wasn't joking. Lavender Hill Fish and Chips. Although it looks a bit posh, that ain't my kind of fish and chip shop. Let's try somewhere else. Right, this is more like it, innit? We got the aforementioned dodgy pizza place, Kebab Express. There's that and off licence up there, isn't it? Right, this place will have to do. It's not really the sort of place I'm used to. It still looks a bit posh. Everywhere around here seems to be a bit posh and all sort of artisan. What's happened to London? Maybe it's just this area. Right, let's have a look. So this place is very nice. It looks quite posh, doesn't it? Look, you've even got a little beer tap down here. Lovely. Well, that's really cool. A lot of maritime stuff. There's a lobster, fish and all sorts. We've got a restaurant bit back here. I'm going to sit out the front because I'm a chav. And we've got a bar and all. So my feet are destroyed. I've done so much walking today. We've got the last lady coming out now with my knife and fork. Thank you. See, it's so posh. Knife and fork. Normally you have like a wooden little fork thingy. Right, the food's arrived. If you think I'm getting fish, you're going to be sorely disappointed because honestly, when I go to a fish and chip shop in the UK, I never get fish. I don't even like fish and chips. So I have something which goes back to my childhood, unbelievably. We have chips, of course. This is a Savaloy. It's basically just a big, long sausage. You'll see when I take the skin off, it's like a red colour. It used to be made of pig's brains, I believe. And we have 2 pickled eggs. A lot of people hate these. I absolutely love them. Of course, we've got vinegar, we've got salt, we've got pepper. Iconic. So I like a lot of salt and a lot of vinegar on my chips. Oh. Beautiful. Like, you can never go wrong with chips from a chip shop. There's, you know, I'm not going to do some elaborate explanation about what they taste like. They taste like chips. But the vinegar and the salt and the pepper, again, just bring back unbelievable memories. I can't even speak. Pickled egg, bottoms up. They're just hard-boiled eggs that are in like a big jar of vinegar, whatever, to pickle them. People would say I'm so dirty for liking pickled eggs, but they're just iconic. So a Savaloy, it might look disgusting, but it's the best. My dad used to have them when I was younger. I used to have them. We also used to have battered sausages. I can't speak anymore. So basically, I was told as a kid you've got to peel the skin off and not eat it. I don't know why you can't eat it. I think it's just like synthetic stuff. It used to be like pig's intestines back in the day. I still peel it off because obviously I don't really like the skin. It's just a sausage that has this sort of red tinge. I think that's because of the spices and that go in it. Right, I know Americans are probably watching this thinking that's a wiener or a hot dog or something, but it's not. It's a Savaloy. There's no comparison in terms of what it's like, what it tastes like. Yum. Right, I'm done. My plate is almost empty and I've got 53 seconds left on my SD card, so I'm going to leave it here. Goodbye to London. I'll actually see you at the airport tomorrow morning, so see you then. Right, hi everyone. Fast forward 2.5 weeks into the future. I'm in my first brand new country since 2020. More on that at the end. And I had full-blown COVID for a week. Brilliant. But thankfully, I'm back to full strength now. Wonderful. And to end this video, I wanted to give you a bit of a summary around my time in London. Not only this video, but my previous one as well in Feltham in my hometown. And if I lump them together, I've got to say I was underwhelmed. I was disappointed in so many ways, despite the fact that in this video, yes, I said I went to some places and saw a side of London which I never saw, despite growing up there, you know. It was just a sense of disappointment, absolutely, especially when it came to things like food. You know, the Savaloy and chips, you know, I might have sort of made out that, oh, it's great to have a Savaloy again, but honestly, it was nothing compared to what I grew up with. And it's a difficult thing, isn't it, when you've grown up with something and that's what you're used to, and you go away from there and have all these other dishes in all these other countries and go back, and yeah, it's underwhelming. Like, what was I raving about back in the day? It's difficult with London because I do often go back there and have this overwhelming feeling of trepidation. I think that's the best word, because I feel like I need to have this feeling of nostalgia or longing or enamorment because it's London and that's where I'm from, and I should have those feelings because it's home, or at least it was home. But honestly, I don't have those feelings. I generally come away from London with venom, with a feeling of vitriol and disconnection, absolute disconnection, because it may be where I'm from, but having not been there for so many years, having not lived there for so many years, it isn't my home anymore. The nature of home is a very complex concept, isn't it? I don't have a feeling of connection as I do when I go to Mexico City or to Belgrade or somewhere like that. And obviously, I'm not from those cities, so I'm not going to have that feeling of almost unprocessed trauma, which is what I'll come on to. I think it's quite clear that, especially in the Felton video, that I do have absolute unprocessed trauma when it comes to living in London. And yes, there are things which I don't talk about. There are things I don't talk about to myself simply because I'm not able to. I think our brain does something wonderful yet destructive when it comes to trauma, in that it does protect ourselves from even thinking about it. And it's one reason which, you know, in terms of coming away from YouTube and doing different things, one of the things I want to do is write a book, because I feel like it will be, and this is an overused word when it comes to writing a book, right? Cathartic. I think it will be. It will allow me to access those things and allow me to be who I actually am, instead of this person using humour and sarcasm and dark humour as a defence mechanism. This is character development, and I think we'll readdress this in my final video. You know, I've got nothing against London, ultimately. It is where I'm from. I can't deny that. I think for someone who isn't from London, you know, London is an amazing city, and you look at it in the way that I look at someone like Mexico City, for example. Yes, there are a lot of problems, but I see those problems more because I'm from there. It's a topic I could go on about forever, but ultimately I don't have any plans to go back, ever. I don't think I could ever do that. I have moved on, well and truly, which we'll come back to in my final video. So my next destination for the next video, there might actually be a couple of extra ones, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm back in the Balkans. Brilliant. I've actually been here for about 3 weeks, so it feels like home already. Fantastic. So hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you next time from Sofia. Wonderful. Catch you later.